to the West podcast. I'm Charles, and with me today are Richard and Ian. And today we're going to be reviewing more patron lists. We've done one before a few months ago. Today we're going to be reviewing another 6 lists. So if you're interested in having your list reviewed, head over to our Patreon page. And thank you to our current patrons for supporting us. Before we continue with the video, I'm excited to announce our partnership with Baron of Dice. Baron of Dice is a company that sells a huge variety of dice for various game systems, including Middle-earth SVG. They're chunky and heavy as they are made of resin. They're also balanced, so you know that you're not cheating anyone. You can find the link to their website in the description below, and you can use the promo code WEST for 5% off. Also, keep an eye out on their website for custom Into the West dice coming soon. Go check them out. This episode is a follow-up to our top 10 most fun to play armies. And so the theme around these lists that we had our patrons come up with were lists that they found to be fun. So I was thinking maybe for our ratings today in this episode, we would rate how fun we think it would be to play. All right, so let's get into the first list. So the first list comes from Maximilian Lothlorien and Rivendell Alliance that he brought to a tournament. Now, the interesting thing is that he said it's 1,024 points. So
wait, is that a real thing?
I'm pretty sure none of us have played at that points level, but we'll give it our best shot. So in the Lothlorien warband, he has Galadriel with 4 guards of the Galadrim court, 1 Wood Elf Sentinel, 1 Galadrim with banner, shield, and spear, 5 warriors with elf bow, 3 warriors with spear and shield, 3 warriors, and 1 knight. And then he has Glorfindel with Asploth in armor, with a high elf warrior with banner and spear, 7 warriors with shield, 6 warriors with spear and shield, and 1 knight. And then he has Elladan and Elrohir on horses with heavy armor, 4 warriors with shield, 3 warriors with elf bow and spear, and 1 Rivendell knight for a total of 45 models.
Before we start reviewing, just another caveat to the tournament that he gave us. It's actually 3 pools pre-selected and it's veto. So don't know if that changes anything, but Ian, go.
I think it's pretty good. I mean, he doesn't have a march in there, which kind of sucks, but he's got max bows. We like that, especially with the high elf army bonuses still in effect. So the shooting is good with the blinding light as well. And he's got 3 knights, I think, 1 Galadrim, 2 high elves, and then 3 mounted heroes. So he's got enough mobility to compensate. Numbers are at 45, which is, I think it's fine for elves at this points level. It's pretty solid considering there is veto, so you can get rid of like the worst matchups. I like it. But I mean,
he doesn't need March because of veto.
I agree. Like, I don't think he needs that because the veto is there, and then he's got the other things to counter that, like enough cav and the blinding light and stuff. It's solid, but I don't know. I always find it hard to pick apart 1,000-point lists because you always get everything you want.
I like even the point that he's taking 2 banners, which I definitely like in a pure elf list. There's a lot of fight 5s that will be winning. I think it helps a little bit for us that it's a fairly competitive and it looks like it plays well with Galadriel, and then you have 3 basically mounted elf heroes, which is pretty scary, to be honest. So it can be a very fun list. I mean, it's very well rounded, and both Ian and I play enough elves that winning fights is always fun.
Winning fights and shooting things is always a good time. I think it would be a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know how you'd feel if you came up against like 1,000-point Dragon Emperor Legion. That might not feel as good, but other than that, I think you do all right.
I think it does well against, or it does okay at least against Dragon Emperor, because you do have the fight 6 and your heroes definitely can take out the pike block quite easily.
12 might is probably good enough, even at 1,000, right? Like more would be nice, but I think 12 is still really good.
Yeah. I think this list would be a Valor for me. I think that it's the most fun it can be to like elven alliances. I think for it to be break into legend, you would need to have some crazy alliance from another good army like Eagles.
Boromir of Gondor just for an extra 6 might.
I think Valor is a good rating.
Yeah. I think you get a little bored because you're going to struggle to kill things.
Okay, so our second list will be an evil list, and it comes from Corey. Corsairs of Umbar, Far Harad, and Mordor Triple Alliance. Corey is one of the local players here, and he's been really enjoying this alliance over the last year. He's been running a lot of this Triple Alliance. So it's got Dalamir leading 10 Black Numenorians, 6 Arbalesters, and then it's got a Mahud King with Shield, Camel, and War Spear leading 4 Half-Trolls and 4 Mahud on foot with Blowpipe. It's got Mouth of Sauron with Armored Horse leading 2 Morgul Knights, and then a generic Ringwraith, 2-10-2, leading 2 Morannon Orcs with Shield, 10 Morannon Orcs with Spear, Shield, and there's a banner in there. That's a total of 800 points, 42 models. So reading his thoughts with his army is it's got a solid defense, there's a lot of defense 6, and also the synergy of having the budget Ringwraith with Terror, and also just a double caster with pretty solid heroes overall.
I mean, we love our crazy lists, and this is kind of built a lot differently than a lot of lists that I've seen. So, wow, and I don't know, I'm quite surprised, and it looks like there's some good pieces in here. It definitely looks fun at first glance.
Is this a green alliance right now between the three
Yellow.
of them? Oh, it's yellow because Mahud isn't. Yeah, Mahud isn't green with Mordor.
But still,
Okay.
10 Black Numenorians at Courage 4 is not bad.
Actually, so wait, no, then you don't get the half-troll, the Mahud half-troll thing.
No, you don't. Yeah.
That's
no,
the army
so
bonus. But still, Courage 4 on the front there is pretty solid.
I think it's a pretty scary list. It's pretty elite, and you're still just above average model count. I think to score a few more fun points for me is I would swap the Morgul Knights with camels, because I think camels are always a lot of fun. They add utility, right? It's like they threaten heroes. Black Numenorians.
The Morgul Knights are really good, though. Sorry.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It plays in more with the Terra spam. That's for sure. I think that maybe the Mahud infantry aren't as valuable because you already get the strength 4 from the Morannons. So I would try to mount those Mahud infantry if possible. It would help the competitive side and also the fun side for me.
Do you think they're maybe just to sit on objectives? I don't know. Or maybe it's just because he's got the models and they're kind of cool models.
Possibly, or he just wants like over 40 models. So
yeah,
they are quite cheap.
I think to up the fun level just a little bit, maybe take a few Corsairs so you get throwing weapons in there, maybe a Reaver, but then of course you would have to take the Bosun, but that would be kind of crazy. It would help a little bit with the courage, and your hitting power goes up way more. In terms of just making this list maybe a bit more competitive, if you want to go that route, you probably swap out maybe like the Ringwraith for Suladan. You can drop that banner, and obviously Suladan's amazing. And then because the Mouth of Sauron can still take whatever you're wanting to take in Mordor, and it just adds another big mounted hero. And personally, like, you already have 2 marches here, and a budget Wraith is nice, but like, and double caster is nice, but I don't know. I probably say Suladan's a little better here.
I'd go the other. I'd drop the Mouth instead because he doesn't have Harbinger.
It's yellow though, right? So he has to keep the Mouth. So you still
aren't,
at least
aren't Ringwraiths?
Ringwraiths are 42.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah. Generic.
Wow.
I've definitely tried. I would love to.
So generic.
Generic with yellow line.
I mean, you could probably build a generic Witch King at the same, around the same stats, right?
Yeah.
Like around 90 points, like a budget Witch King.
And then you just end up with another Witch King Sully list.
Yeah, unintentionally. I think this one gets a legend for me. For those of you who've checked out our Clash on the Coast review, Andrew, the winner of our premier tournament, played against Corey's list, which is similar to this, and he had said that the list felt really strong when he played it. So, and like, I always have a bias towards Far Harad, and it's got Far Harad and Corsairs in it, so legend for me.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm with you. Definitely a legend here. Just all the different pieces. It's always a fun time for me. Like I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out like the combo pieces and stuff. And yeah, all solid hero choices.
It's a weird build, but I like it. I mean, it is only 8 might. Yeah, I mean, that's enough might points because you're gonna have the mouth and the ring wraith are gonna be sitting back, and you got 3 capable combat heroes, and like dabbling in the half trolls, so they're kind of like your hitting squad. Yeah, I like it. I think you have fun with that. There's enough damage in there, enough terror to like really annoy your opponents and cause gaps and stuff. So I think, yeah, I think it'd be a good time.
All right, our next list is from Michael, and he actually named his army. It's called the Redemption of Boromir. It's a what if scenario where what if Boromir had survived Amon Hen, joining up with Gandalf the White and Faramir, tried to retake Osgiliath. So it is an all-mounted Minas Tirith list at 1,000 points. So he has Boromir, who's the leader, with banner, shield, and horse, leading 6 Citadel Guard on horse and 8 knights with shield. And then he has Faramir with horse, heavy armor, and shield, leading 1 knight with banner and 12 knights with shield. And the final warband is Gandalf the White on Shadowfax with Peregrine Took with an Elven Cloak. So that's 31 models at 1,000 points.
Yeah, I think this list gets top marks for alternate theme. No, I love the story. I think Michael probably didn't have the most competitive list in mind. That's obvious. That wasn't the goal. You know, he took Peregrine Took, which is not the most competitive of heroes, and even like Gandalf the White, and of course all mounted knights. But you know,
But like Pippin's just gonna sit at the back of the board on an objective, like and just like throw stones at anything that comes near. Just like, come at me.
We've talked
I'll do
about
you one.
this. We've talked about this in the worst hero bracket. He also has resistant to magic. You can sit on an objective and he can throw stones and resist some magic.
I think you're over exaggerating his abilities here.
No, that was good. I like that.
That's not a good enough defense.
He's finally doing what you want him to, Charles. Dude,
Okay,
I think this is gonna be like a lot of fun to play.
yeah.
The all mounted portion is not a great list. Like it's not. The Knights being fight 3 is not great. But he's got Boromir in there with the banner, so he's got a nice big hitter guy who's fight 7, and he's gonna make all the rest of the troops great. He's got a second banner in there, so he can fight on another front. I don't think it's great, but I think it's gonna hit really hard. It'll probably win a couple games. I think you can have fun no matter what you do.
I actually like the addition of the second banner because the issue with like all cav is you don't want to lump them all together. You're not going to be able to, you know, get full coverage of the front line. But you know, the way he plays it, yeah, it can definitely take some armies off guard. You know, you have 2 massive like just clumps of lance cavalry. You know, if you win the fights, then you're gonna get some kills.
Actually, not a bad idea.
It's unfortunate that Peregrine Took can't like take a pony or whatever because he's just going to be lagging behind every scenario. I think that maybe if you did want to take Pippin just for theme, instead of the cloak, just give Faramir a lance because it would help him be like a better hitter, and then just walk Pippin behind a building or a tree or just lie down or take an objective or something and just hope that he doesn't get shot.
I didn't realize Faramir didn't have the lance. Yeah, he needs the lance for sure. And then it'd be nice to find the points to give those Citadel Guard bows, just because, like, again, you're gonna have guys sitting on objectives, and you know, some meme shots at heroes' horses or whatever. Or you could just drop one of the knights, honestly, and then buy the Citadel Guards, like upgrade them to bows, give Faramir some extra kit, and then doesn't change the breakpoint at all. And Pippin can still have his cloak and chill.
So this might not rank high in terms of competitive level, but if I had those models and it was a fun event, I would want to play this. I would be curious how well I would do. So it's got to be legend.
I think fun, yeah, it goes all the way up to the top. For competitive is probably Fortitude. Like I still think it's gonna win a couple of games, but you know, might be a bit of a slog. Yeah, the thing is with that many knights, like even if only half of them win their fights, they're gonna be killing, you know, at least an equal number of models. Like a knight is going to kill when it wins a fight.
I don't know. I think fortitude is a bit of a bit generous. I might
That
go
might be.
minor. Just I feel like Gandalf is so many points. It almost becomes like a Gondor version of Riders of Aomer. You could take Elisar for the exact same points, and I think that might be better.
I mean, he has some fight 5 calves there, so better than Riders of Aylmer.
Yeah, he's got fight 4 and fight 5 Cav in there. Fight 7 hero. And then Gandalf can still put up the blinding light. Well, I mean, he's not going to cover everything, but you know, Lord help you if you come up against an assault on Helm's Deep list, but I think it's still going to have a lot of fun.
This episode's focused on fun, so we won't talk about potentially the problems it can have at a competitive event. All right, so the next list is a list from the Dragon Horde, who was earlier last year on our podcast talking about the FAQ in August. And he brought a Minas Tirith and White Council alliance. So this is a 600-point list. And on the Minas Tirith side, he has Denethor as the leader, leading 9 warriors of Minas Tirith with shield, 5 rangers of Gondor with spear, and 1 guard of the Fountain Court with shield. Second warband, Hurin the Tall on horse, leading 8 warriors of Minas Tirith with shield, 5 rangers of Gondor with spear, and 1 warrior of Minas Tirith with banner and shield. And a third warband of Radagast the Brown with Great Eagle and Sebastian. So that's a total of 32 models.
I mean, Radagast on Eagle is very fun. Whenever you have a wizard, like the last list, that's fun. And whenever you have a flying monster, it's fun. So
yeah, I thought it was just Ratty when I first read it. I didn't realize he was on the Eagle. I don't know how I feel about this now.
So
I kind of
the biggest downside of the Eagle is you lose the staff, but at 600 points, how many big casters are you likely to see? And you know, if he'd be playing a different role, right? He would be playing like a more of like a Gwahir kind of role.
he's like a hitter, and he's maybe going to go in and do one Nature's Wrath where like nobody can resist it. He gives resistance to magic to himself, right? When he's on the Eagle or in from allied in from that list. So he's going to be like a pretty hard to take out hero. And then he doesn't have heroic strike, but I mean at fight 7 it's less of an issue, and he's got heroic defense. And honestly, having Sebastian in there too, just throwing an extra dice when he does get charged is pretty useful. So this is a funky list, but like I still think I like it at 600. Like it's a very interesting build. I mean, you don't have any mobility besides Huron and Radagast, but like you have so much defense 6, defense 7 stuff if they have the shield wall active. Like you don't really care.
and the
then,
numbers are decent too. And like I kind of like it because at 600 points, a lot of people would have to just focus on Radagast and the Eagle, right? And then Hurin kind of has free reign.
Yeah, with Huron and Denethor in there, like you're probably not going to cough up leader points, or if you do, then Radagast is just going to be doing whatever he wants for like the whole game.
And I mean, I think Denethor is always a good time for both parties involved. You know, if he goes crazy, you know, that's always a fun role to take.
Yeah.
Well, no army bonus here, so there's more likely he's going to go crazy. No courage buffs. That's fun.
The other thing Radagast brings is Aura of Dismay. Your whole line causes terror.
Do you want to risk doing an Aura of Dismay when you don't have the staff, though? Because you're
Depends
going to
who
have
facing.
to. Yeah, but you're committing a lot of resources to make that go off, right? Like if you want to make sure it goes off, you're probably throwing 3 dice, so that's half your will, and probably a might point too. You have to be ready for that.
True.
Which, when you only have 6 might, isn't the greatest.
Like
Like you don't really want to be spending that on spells to boost spells, right?
Yeah.
You definitely can do that, but then I think it's you throw up Orb of Dismay, you're not really going to throw a Nature's Wrath after that, right? Maybe try a single dice one, but
I think this would be like a high valor for me. I think at the end of the day, it's a Minas Tirith list, and you're playing it for Radagast on Eagle. But I think when it comes to competitively, it can do pretty well. Like I like the look of this list. So yeah, it has some potential for me for sure.
But we'll put it in Valor for both, I think.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have fun with Ratty on the Eagle at 600. Like that's just gonna be a fun time.
Yeah.
with his spells and just fucking around with the monster. So
Yeah, probably
So-
go with the same with you as you guys. All right, that was a good list combination. The next list is submitted by Alex Anglin, and he has a crazy alliance as well, and it is Fiefdoms with Grimbeorn. So this is a 600-point list, and in the first warband, he has Prince Imrahil Dol Amroth on armored horse with lance, leading 2 mounted knights with lances, 8 men at arms, and 1 clansman. And then he has Grimbeorn with 4 Bjornings and 2 Bjornings with great bow. That's 600 points, 19 models.
Sounds familiar.
I've written a list almost exactly like this at 800 points, and I love it. I love the look of it. I mean, 600, it's less enticing maybe, but I don't know, man. I
19
think
models seems really low, but when you think about it, if you're playing the Bjarning's Legendary Legion at 600 points, you're at like 12 models. So is it really that bad?
so far in my experience running the Beornings allied in, the magical number that I've found is kind of like between 5 and 6, like because that way you get enough to fill out your front line in like the main battle line section, but you're not going to have a bunch hanging back not doing anything. So I don't know, man. Like if you get that front line fighting, and you have banner effects everywhere, even if the Beornings are away from Grimbeorn and he hasn't transformed yet, you're still getting the effect from Imrahil because the Dol Amroth pikes. It's
Yeah. I think the issue is that with 8 men at arms and a couple more low defense man models, like 1 clansman, if you take those ones out, you're on the brink of breaking. You're living life on the edge for sure here.
But like on the other hand, like I would say it is kind of vulnerable to shooting because the defense is low, but he also only has 19 models, and I feel like that's very like it's small enough you could hide all them behind terrain. If you have like the normal boards that we play on, for example, you could definitely hide that many models behind terrain, at least get in the ways, or just completely obscure them. So I don't think it's as vulnerable to shooting as you would think, but it really depends on board.
I mean, you have the bear block too, right? That you used against me.
That's true. Yeah. The giant D8 bear that nobody really wants to shoot at. And he's not even your leader in this one either. So like you care way less.
I just don't see much of a synergy between, like, in terms of Prince Imrahil and Grimbeorn. Like, I almost think it's better if you just almost do like a pure Bjorning's battle line and then like 1 drop in the Forlong or something, or a hero like that.
I mean, you could do Forlong and then just a bunch of axemen behind and then bulk out the Beorning numbers, I guess.
Because it'd be a lot
But your
cheaper.
numbers are probably going to end up the same.
Or is it like trying to form a battle line if you can get there, pike up behind the Bjornings? And that's a lot of dice, right? 4 dice, and then you get the banner reroll on either like from the fiefdom models or from the bear being in range. A lot of the times you're going to have 5 dice at fight 5. So maybe that's the idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think this alliance works better at higher points because my 800 point version of this I think has 38 models. It's not great on my points, fair enough, but the model count is significantly different compared to the points, right? Like it's quite manageable. I have run a 600 point list like this, but it was Grimbeorn with Faramir. And that one, it was a little weird because we were using the double scenario, so you had to have 300 of the points had to be with Faramir's warband, so I had a bunch of knights and stuff just to fill out the points. But I think that worked a little bit better than this one because in that one you can get a normal banner, so then Grimbeorn gets the banner effect, and then so did Faramir because Faramir is mounted. Like in this one, Imrahil doesn't have a banner effect.
I think with all that said, though, Imrahil is a more fun hero than Faramir. And at 600 points, you have 2 super smashy heroes, including 1 monster. So, I mean, you had a good time with your list.
I did really enjoy it. I think you're gonna have a ton of fun with this. I would probably suggest swapping out the Beornings with bow in this one and just giving them two-handed weapons. I'm assuming it's the six because that's the way you built the box, but in this specific build, you probably just go for all two-handed weapons because you're not maxing the bows anywhere else. The only time you take Beornings with bows because if you're gonna max bows everywhere, I think.
I think I'm gonna
For honesty
go
bows.
Valor with fun level and maybe a Fortitude for the strength of the list.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think it's a legend for fun.
Fair enough.
Because like it lives and dies by like Grimbeorn and Imrahil being able to like hit really heavy, but they have good backup with like the six Beornings too, and like the two mounted knights. So you're gonna smash into an enemy list. The game's gonna last like 3 turns because either all the enemy stuff is gonna be dead or you're gonna be quartered.
Thanks for submitting this list, Alex. And the final list that we're going to look at today is from Andrew Palmieri, and it is a Grand Army of the South Legendary Legion at 650 points. So in the first warband, we have the Mumak War Leader with 10 Warriors of Harad in the Howdah. And then Warband 2, we have a Mahud King on Camel with Shield and War Spear, leading 1 Haradrim Warrior with Banner and Spear, 6 Haradrim Warriors with Spear, and 2 Serpent Guards. So first off, typically we only see this Legion at like minimum 800 points or higher. He's taking it at 650. So that right there, Andrew is crazy for doing this. And you typically see Suladan. You have access to those 2 heroes of legend, and typically you would want both of them because one of the special rules gives you free heroics, right? If you're fighting the enemy leader. And Suladan, as we've said multiple times, is just so good. So he opted for a Mahud King instead. What do you guys think of this build?
It's kind of weird because wait, how many Harad does he have on foot? He has 9 Harad and then 10 guys, 11, 12. So if he sends the Mahud King forward with the Mumak, it is possible to break him. If he hides all of those spears and the banner at the back of the board, which I suspect is probably what he's gonna do, and just run the Mumak and the King forward, they're gonna have fun. And he's not gonna have like his army is gonna break. And I think the Mumak still provides a banner effect, right?
It's a D6 reroll, so it stacks with Suladan's banner if he has Suladan. It stacks.
Well, he has a banner in there, but
he
I think
has a
that
banner, but
probably
like
hides.
the cost of the banner plus a Mahud King is Suladan. So great effort for taking a Mahud King because Mahud King is always fun points for me. But like Suladan is, I think, the better pick. It gives you so many more rerolls. I mean, the Mahud King gives you more hitting power, but do you really need it when you have a Mumak that is running things over?
Is he better support for the Mumak though because he's like the combat is more reliable than Suladan? And he in this build he keeps the leader up on the Mumak, right? So you're probably not gonna get points for wounding the leader unless you kill the Mumak, and not every list can do that.
Or he's trying to do that strategy where if someone tries to tag the Mumak with one model, he impales that model so to free up the Mumak.
That actually makes sense probably
to plan ahead, but
I think but if you're gonna do that, you want more camels then.
Yeah.
Like you want the rest of your like your foot force, like accompanying force to be the camels.
Yeah. So Andrew told me ahead of time that he actually did take this to a tournament. He didn't tell me how he did, but if he only took it to a tournament once, maybe that explains things. I think I would always take Suladan just because you would want to pick him to be the leader, right? Because the war leader is more susceptible to shooting and vulnerable to magic, and or would you?
Is he though? Because
Suladan is pretty soft with no backup too.
That's true.
Yeah, I at least the Mahud King's only 2 wounds though, but he is D6 as opposed to D5. So I mean, extra wounds probably better. But I think you want the Beastmaster to be the leader. Because does he get resistant to magic when he's up there? Because of the sigils? Is that how that works?
It comes with sigils. So yeah, every model in the Howdah has resistance to magic, and the Mumak too.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Any list that has a Mumak should have some fun points because it's a very fun model.
And this is like the Mumak. Like it's a great Mumak.
Yeah, fight 5 instead of a fight 4. And also,
Oh,
if you're fighting the enemy leader, you can call it free hero combat with the
yeah.
Mm.
Uh, but okay, but it has the sigil, so he gets the resistance to magic, and I'm reading it that he gets 6-up save too. So he's probably makes sense to make him the leader.
Yeah, I don't know about how competitive this would be. I think it depends on your meta's terrain and also obviously the scenario pool.
If you know you're playing Reconnoiter, just run,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like walk this towards their army and then just walk through it and off the board.
You would have a ton of fun in like Contest of Champions.
Oh
For
no.
for
You
for
wouldn't get
5
any
minutes.
kills. Yeah, you wouldn't get any kills because I don't think trampling counts as your kills, but you can knock off
Doesn't.
the enemy leader right away.
But if you kill the enemy leader and then then you need to make sure that your beast master, because he doesn't have the repelling lines, right? So you have to hurl him off the beast after you kill the enemy leader and hope you get some kills. So you you would have a lot of fun with that. That'd be some bullshit.
Yeah. And the first heroic move, the most important one, he cancels it on a 3+. He cancels
It's
your
only
enemies.
it's only one though, right? Is it
Yeah, the
per
first
turn?
heroic move. So they would have to call
Okay.
2 to counter yours.
Does the oh he's got 5 might.
Yeah, 5.
He just saves them all for heroic moves though, which is what you do. You just hide the king behind him.
It's got the tusk weapons. That's 4 strength, 9 hits whenever you win a turn.
Oh, that's really good. That's so hard to stop. Oof.
Yeah. I think it's a legend rating for fun level. For competitive,
Maybe fortitude.
It's pro fortitude, yeah, because there's so many things
Yeah.
you don't know, and that so many
Yeah.
things that you can potentially be bad against.
If it's a veto event though,
Valor, maybe. Still, it'd be hard. You can
I don't
argue
know.
for Valor.
That's more matchup dependent though. Yeah, it's probably still sits in 4. Like I think any list with a Mumak probably is gonna like top out at like 42. Maybe you could pip into Valor. That'd be fun though.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sending us a list with a Mumak in it. So thank you to all our patrons who submitted a list for this episode. We had fun reviewing them. And yeah, look forward to the next one. See you in the next video.